Hey guys, welcome to Project Argio Visual Basic 2008 tutorial number 3, I believe. Um, I was going to post another one, but I decided to remake it and post it for Christmas. Naked Creep. I am sick right now, just FYI. So today, guys, I'm gonna be showing you what the compiler looks like and a few things about it, just to get you guys running with it, because it can be confusing when you first open it up, because it's pretty big and scary. So, first, you're going to go to your Microsoft Visual Studio or Microsoft Visual Basic Express, whichever one you have. Same difference. I own the special one that you have to buy, but there's not really any differences. As you can see, I get all this extra stuff. Once your compiler's open, just look around a bit. If you do not have this toolbox thing over here, this toolbox area, you're gonna have to go enable it. Go View, and then Toolbox. Also, I suggest you have the Solution Explorer over here. And also, the properties you're gonna want to have on this side at the bottom. If you don't, well, you can put them anywhere else, but that's just my advice to you. Sorry, this is my music player down here. So, I'm gonna put my properties right there. So when you open it up, it kind of looks pretty daunting, right? If you enabled RSS feeds, you should have headlines here showing you everything, all the news with Visual Basic and everything else. So there's some getting started things here, which I suggest you take right here. If you don't, well, it's okay, because you can just follow my tutorials. Anyway, what you're going to want to do to create a new application or project, go to File, New Project. Another way you can do this is going to Create Project. Now, I'm sorry for my computer, it is very, very slow. As you can see, it's not responding now. Another thing, I just might as well mention this as it's being laggy. I'm going to be having a Photoshop contest for New Year's, and it's going to be to make the best New Year's photo. You can modify anyone else's, but it has to be a significant modification, or create your own. I don't care, but it's got to be really good, and I will sponsor your name in one of my videos. So, yeah, all of you Photoshoppers enter that contest. Should be pretty fun for you guys. Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna go to create project right here. So once you have your new project window open, you shouldn't see all these other things unless you have the team suite, but focus on the Visual Basic right here. You should have several options like Windows and Web and Smart Device. If you don't have those, just focus on the Windows and Web. Go to Windows right here, and you should see Class Library, Windows Forms Application, Empty Project, Console Application, and WPF stuff. Don't worry about WPF, just head on to the Windows Forms application. Once here, enter a name. I'm going to call my application Tutorial. Now keep in mind when it creates your application, it could take a while. Oh, sorry. It could take a while depending on how long you have your computer has been around. If it's an older computer, it's gonna take a long time. If it has less RAM, it's gonna take much long time. So just wait for that to load. Now what you have here is if you have not touched anything with the windows on the sides and stuff, you'll have your toolbox on this side and your Solution Explorer and properties on the side. Now, let me explain some of these. Now, properties is for the object you've selected in your designer. So this is your designer right here, and this is your window, your form. When you select this, when you click it, the properties window will over here will display all the values and properties this window has, like its name right here. By default, it's selected on your project, which should be right here, and it should have 4 options right here. So what you're gonna want to do first is go over to the toolbox. I'm gonna explain this a little more. In the toolbox, you have all Windows forms, common controls, containers, menus, and toolbars, data, components, printing, dialog, WPF, interoperability, reporting, visual power packs, and general. If you do not have some of these, don't worry, I own the full version. But we're only going to focus on the common controls today. So, the first option here, you have the pointer. Now, the pointer doesn't do much of anything. It takes you back to the normal mouse cursor, which allows you to move stuff around on the form, make the form bigger. So, first we're going to want to use the button. Now, 2 ways of placing the button on the form is by clicking it, and then going under the form, left clicking and dragging, and then let go. It should make a button depending on the area you selected by the size. So on the button, its default name is button 1. Now to change this, you can go to button 1. Now when you change this, keep in mind that internally that button's name is not the name that you give it. Let's call it tutorial button. Now, the name of the button has not changed, but what has changed is the text on the button. If you want to change the name of the whole button, you have to go to button 1 at the top in the name. Right here. You can change that to whatever you want, but make sure there's no space in between it. So let's call it tutorial button. Tutorial underscore button. So what that did is it changed it internally, and we'll get into that later. Now that you notice you did that with the button that you selected, let's see if we can do it with form 1. Well, looky here. You have the text option right here, and you also have the name option. Now, the exact same rules as the button. You can go to the text option right here and change it. Let's change it to tutorial. Now that just changed the title of the video, the title of the window, but it did not change it internally. It just changed the title, it just changed what the text on the window is. If you want to change it internally, which I suggest you do for every new object create, then name it here. So we're going to call it tutorials. And it should change. You'll hear a beeping noise, and the internal name of your form will change. Another thing, right over here, there's another way to create something, an object, a button, if you will. All you have to do is click and hold and drag over to the form and let go. Now it'll create by the default button size. Now keep in mind when you enter some text in to change it. If it's longer than the button, then it won't display it, but watch. So let's type in watch this. Now when you create and watch this, here, watch this tutorial. So when we create that, we can't, where did this tutorial go? I mean, is it there? Well, it is, but you just have to drag it out so that you can see it. It's kind of like when you go into Notepad and you enter in something, but it goes longer than the box, so you have to scroll